Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your alcoholic stepfather, and this is another vinyl update. Now, the last time I did a vinyl update, it was going smoothly, but my stupid ass wasn't focusing on the editing for the videos, and apparently I ended up with the video looking like this.
3 ogres almost on a boy, backed only by accordion.
I'm so excited for the video to be released because I've never done a vinyl update before. I guess I never paid attention until a couple weeks after that I released the video. I actually now noticed the mistake, but this time it's going to be completely different. It's going to be fully focused. It's going to be more, I can't come up with another word, but yes, it's going to be way better than the last time. And to prove that it'll be better than the last time, we also got a different store we went to. I actually went to LA about I'd say a week and a half ago. I mean, I got these records, but I didn't get a chance to listen to all of them yet. So it's going to be completely new. So why don't we just go ahead and get started. Now, if you've seen the last vinyl update I did, I said I was thinking about getting Doris, but now this time I actually got Doris, okay? Don't know what Doris is. Doris is an album basically done by Earl Sweatshirt off the OF label for Off Future back when they were basically still doing music. It's been a while since they actually done anything together, entirely, unless you're talking about Call Me If You Get Lost, when Tyler got to work with Damo Genesis again. Now, really it's pretty simple. The nice outline of titling all of the songs and making sure that their lyrics are there as well as the production credits and vocals and everything. Now, I remembered I love listening to this album. It's been a long time since I've actually heard anything of Earl Sweatshirt, so I'm kind of excited. Well, we take a look at the disc now. Now, there's not really much there, but you get these wibbly lines inside of it, and of course you get the nice OF logo right there. It's at the bottom right corner. Now, you can't see it because it's blurry. I don't know if it's because of my editing system or it's because I just use shitty phones. I don't think I'm ever going to plan myself to use a real camera. Now, if I could just remember... Oh, yeah. Okay. Why don't we just go ahead, turn this bad boy on, and we could go find out what Earl has been doing when he was back in 2015.
Something sinister to it. The pendulum swinging slower, degenerate moving through the city with criminal stealth. Welcome to enemy turf, harder than immigrants work. Golf is distant in my shirt. Get up off the pavement, brush the dirt up off my psyche. It's probably been 12 years since my father left me fatherless. And I just used to say I hate him in dishonest jest, when honestly I miss this nigga when I was...
Okay, so Doris by Earl Sweatshirt. Now, this is obviously for fans of early Odd Future days. I mean, I could say myself that I also like the old Odd Future, but apparently nowadays we're going towards the new stuff. It's kind of with Tyler's last 3 albums, we're only focusing on those, but we never really go to the old stuff. Now, clearly this shows how much of a fan Earl was, and we also know Tyler was, of MF Doom, may he rest. Now, he basically not only tries to he doesn't even try to hide it. He even shows it an example in 523. And I will say, despite how this is a good experimental jazz, abstract, horrorcore type of thing, I will say that some of the tracks on here don't really kind of fit in. I mean, you get a track like Guild. I'm not saying that right. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Guild, yeah, Guild. Like, for example, Guild. Guild is probably the most boring of it all on this entire album, because you can't even try to understand what the entire people that are on this track are even saying. And that track also has Mac Miller. I'm a fan of Mac Miller, and that just lowered it. And of course, there are also other tracks on here where Earl does tend to have good chemistry with his features, especially with like Vince Staples and Tyler the Creator. But it just doesn't like entirely feel like it should be. I mean, I can't remember which track it was, but there's like a certain track, I'm sure it's like Centurion, where he's like trying to do his best Tyler impersonation. I mean, that's kind of strange. There's also a track, Molasses. I think it's a great track, but it just doesn't fit in with this album. Now, I think it's still a pretty good album if you like the unsettling, twisted productions, and with its great storytelling, then I would recommend going to this album. Now, based on what I've said, I think I'm going to give this album a good, I'm going to say a good 8. Yeah, I'm just going to give it a nice solid 8. It's basically where this whole thing basically belongs. Okay, now, next album is Trippie Redd's A Love Letter to You 3. Basically his like solid project, his most solid, good project. It's been a couple of years since I've heard like the whole thing, but I will say nothing ever beats 2018 Trippie Redd. I mean, if you look at this track listing, you could tell that there are some good hits in here. I mean, you got NBA Youngboy, you get Juice WRLD, you get Tory Lanez, but I always know that NBA and Trippie never fail. That's all I recall. Especially when it comes to him and Juice WRLD, they always manage to have great chemistry. Now, I will say, the art of this is not much. It's literally just the Illuminati eye on both sides. Not really like containing much art on here, unlike the last, but not the last, like the most recent Love Letter to You 4. It had like more creative sun. Like, of course, the version I have is like the ultra clear thing, as well as like one disc is like totally a blur, while the other one is just like perfectly fine picture. Now let's see where I can go with this.
Shorty do not play no games with me. Yeah, that shit is lame to me. Spend every night and every day with me. We gon' be alright, just take the pain with me. Yeah, baby, stay 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 with me. Yeah. Your love is a drug I like to try today. Your love from above I need.
That was A Love Letter to You 3. Now, this was basically easy to listen to. It was very great. It was very good. Now, otherwise, I will say there are a couple of tracks on here that are like a big bland, are quite bland. I will say that the tracks are basically like the self-title track, like, as well as Elevate and Motivate. I thought Youngboy was good in it, but I guess that's only Hate Me and other tracks. Now, There's also the ending, the closing track, Campfire Tale. It wasn't as good of an ending, but I will say that this album is still good. It manages to match the personality and the emotion that this album deserves. Unlike the past two love letters, they didn't really like try to match it with anything. But this, they actually had fun with it. They actually had good production on it. It actually tells a story on what we're trying to get to from top to bottom. Now, I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna give this album a good 7.3. 7.3. It's what I think it deserves. It's not like the best mixtape of all time, but it still manages to get there. Okay. Now, I didn't get a lot of albums, so this one will literally be the last album. Now, we got After Hours by The Weeknd. Basically, we all heard great things about this. Most people don't like... I mean, I haven't listened to like the whole thing on this yet, but I will say, I know there are a lot of bangers in here. I mean, of course there's a lot of different sides, but of course we get the artistic style that we never get to see from The Weeknd before. I will say I do like his way of packaging, basically showing the remainder of each side with the song titles and stuff like that. It's very nice to tell which way's which. Okay. It's quite simple. It just shows what it has to offer, both after the hours. Go XO. Alright, well, we just hit this bad boy in, and we'll see if this Weeknd will outbeat the trilogy. You see this beautiful motherfucker right here? This beautiful motherfucker managed to get me into this huge, drug-infusing, passionate, painful, emotional, heartbreaking thing I've ever heard in an R&B album since Trilogy. Okay, this was nothing but beautiful production, amazing vocals from Abel himself, and if we could also remember, no features, not a single feature. Motherfucker put heart and soul into this. I don't think I'm allowed to say this over beating Trilogy because Trilogy is the best, but Jesus Christ. This is my Lord and Savior now. This face, this beautiful face that's going into the camera. Yeah. This is my Savior. This is my Lord and Savior. And before I put this away, of course I gotta give it a rating. I mean, I will give it an 8.9. I mean, it doesn't outbeat Trilogy, but this is still a beautiful storytelling told in like any album. Okay, that was this week's vinyl update. So if you guys enjoy it, just hit the like button. If you want to comment on what you like about it or what future videos I should do, just comment down there. If you want to see future videos afterwards, just hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all later.